keep across all that. 2 weeks to go. Hey, 4 years today since 1,129 people died in the Rana Plaza disaster. So here's the question: what have businesses done since then to make sure a similar tragedy just doesn't happen again? Do you know about 75 million people around the world work directly in the fashion and the textile industry? And this week, a campaign kicks off to get us to question, I don't know if you can see that, but who made my clothes? We want to ask. We've got to force us, not force us, but get us, ingrain us to ask the retailers who made our clothes. Let's get more. Carrie Summers is the founder of Fashion Revolution, formed in response to the Rana Plaza disaster to try and improve the working conditions and, of course, make the industry more transparent. Carrie, great to have you with us. Can I start with this? 4 years. We covered the story. We continued covering the consequences, the knock-on effects around the globe and the fashion industry. 4 years on, if I went out onto the main streets here, fashion clothing is still as cheap as chips. You've got fast fashion, the H&Ms, the Zara's turning that stuff around for next to nothing. It doesn't appear like anything's changed.
No, and I think for a lot of consumers, they wouldn't realise that anything had changed since the Rana Plaza disaster. I mean, certainly behind the scenes, a lot has been going on. So we've seen the Bangladesh Accord, for instance. So we've got a lot of brands who are signed up towards improving working conditions and building safety in Bangladesh. But Bangladesh also runs on subcontracting. So that doesn't cover a lot of the factories where you get subcontracting, you get home workers. So it's really only a small percentage of the people who make our clothes, and that's only Bangladesh. It doesn't cover all of the other manufacturing
and the raw materials
countries.
you're talking about, right? We think it's just the garment makers, but the raw materials are the cottons, the silks. I mean, there are big problems in the whole chain, aren't there?
They are, and at the moment, I mean, the fashion supply chain is really opaque. We don't know where our clothes come from. Our research published today has shown that 32% of brands, 32 out of 100 of the biggest global fashion brands, are actually publishing their first-tier factory list. That's up from 12.5% last year.
Okay, so
that's got to be good news, but not one of them is publishing a list of where their raw materials come from. I mean, in Uzbekistan, the entire cotton harvest is picked using forced labour every year, and that cotton is routinely labelled made in Bangladesh. So as consumers, we really can't know that we're not supporting modern-day slavery with the next cotton garment that we're buying.
Or terrorism, perhaps.
Or terrorism, because ISIS were reported to have taken over 3/4 of the cotton fields in Syria. So likewise, no brand is reporting on where their raw materials come from, particularly cotton.
We're running out of time, unfortunately, but I want to ask you, so this is the campaign. You got to get us, the consumer, ingrained into us to ask the people, ask the fashion retailers who made our clothes. That's a mighty task, isn't it? Because we're a fickle bunch, consumers, aren't we?
It is a mighty task, but we are seeing hundreds of thousands of consumers joining in, particularly key influencers, you know, vloggers, haulers on YouTube, and it really is making a difference. We're seeing more and more brands publishing their factory lists every year and starting to disclose. We want them to disclose not just the policies and the processes, but the real impact of their activities on the ground, disclosing more about what they're actually doing to fix some of the problems which they're discovering.
Okay, Carrie Summers, short and sweet, but good luck with the campaign.
Thank you.
Everybody out there is watching and listening to this, so they'll take that on board. Thank you very much. You can get me at BBC Aaron. Quick hand back. That's it, Luce. Back to you.
Thanks so much.